Hey, comic book communities. Math Boy Comics coming here from sunny Southern California. Just got back from a trip to Las Vegas and wanted to show you a haul. I've seen people, with hauls when they've gone out of town, and I've always thought, man, that's a lot of books. And surprisingly, I ended up getting just as many. I think I ended up walking out over 3.5 days of being in Las Vegas. I ended up picking up probably about like maybe 40 books or so. Wanted to go through them. Wanted to also talk about two particular stores that you should definitely make a point to go to when you're in Las Vegas. The first one is Cosmic Comics, and the second one is Torpedo Comics. Great stores, amazingly organized, great staff, and I'll tell you. Let me go ahead and start with the haul. So I got there on day one, and from the airport, McCarran Airport, I went straight over to a comic shop. Wasn't too impressed with it. I think I may have picked up like one book that is just probably something that's maybe been out for like the last couple of days. Frankly, I can't, or past couple of weeks or months, can't even remember what it is, but I definitely know I'm going to flip it on eBay or probably hold on to it just because it's a number one. But from there, I was a little disappointed. I was hoping that the next store would be great, or at least better than what I had for this first store, and I ended up going over to Cosmic Comics. Over there, they have all of their long boxes are alphabetized by title and cataloged for you to see with these little tab things, and everything's numbered. So when you're looking for something, you really should be able to find it. They have it broken out by Marvel, and they have it broken out by DC, and then they have Image and everything else, and also Independence there. And it's a very large store. I was able to pick up some things, and this is what I ended up getting. I got, let's see here, it shows up well. I've got Captain Marvel 39. This is the origin of Uatu the Watcher. Came out, looks like it's like, they're saying it's a fine plus. I'd probably definitely agree with them. It's a good copy. The next I got 149, Thor 149. This is part two of the origin of Black Bolt, the Inhuman. I also was able to find I found three copies of Fantastic Four King Size Special Number 6. This is first Annihilus, first Franklin Richards. I'm a huge Franklin Richards fan. This was actually the best of the three that I picked from. I mean, these prices are really, per the grade, they're really comparable to eBay. But basically, presentation wise, this book blows away the current version that I have. And regardless of what the score is going to be when I send it out to CGC, I'm sending this out just because it presents so well. Now, I did pick up some other books, but they were mostly, I believe I picked up Snot Girl, number one. Let's see, what else did I pick up? I think I picked up a couple of like blank covers just to see if I do decide to get things commissioned. I think I picked up like a Darth Vader number one. And I was pretty happy with that store. They did have an NYX number 3. It was like a 6.5 copy with a pretty, like just a pretty nasty rub on one of the corners and then a bit of an abrasion on the backside. They were asking $200 for it. I decided not to get it because I figured there might still be a chance of me finding one out there in the wild for a reasonable price. Not that that wasn't a reasonable price. I just probably wanted a better copy. Let's see. So the next day, and then at that point, I went back, decided to check into the hotel finally. Didn't go back out just because, I wasn't going to make it back out and get, and get a good amount of time since the comic book stores, I was afraid were going to close on the, earlier, given that it was like a Wednesday. So first thing the following morning, I took Uber out to the west side of Las Vegas, and I went to a store. I thought it was all right. It's a chain store there. They didn't really have that many great things, but I did find this first print Matt Fractions run of Hawkeye. It's pretty good copy from what I can tell. Even if there might be a tick or so, it didn't color break. I'm probably going to most definitely have this thing pressed, and for $14, considering what's out on eBay right now, I thought that this was, this was a slight bargain. I don't think I also over there picked up, I think, like a Captain America #1, the new Nick Spencer version. So that was pretty much the end of it. Like I said, this chain store, and there's pretty much only one chain over in Las Vegas. It was all right. It wasn't the greatest. So, I moved on to the next store. And actually, I'll mention this store because I thought it was pretty cool. It's worth your time if you're looking for books that may not necessarily be of the best quality. They're probably going to be somewhere around 6.0 to about a 7.5, 8.0. And this store is called Celestial Comics. And what I was able to get there actually was I went through their dollar bin, and their dollar bin is pretty extensive. But the great thing about it is it's actually alphabetized and numbered to a certain degree. So that was pretty impressive. Now, granted, not all the books were bagged and boarded, so I got what I got. But Hulk 377, I think this is like my second or third copy. This was $1. And then I'm just I don't know why I'm into Captain Marvel the way that I am. I was able to find a run of books 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I mean, this is like circa 2005 because it has a little promotion for Civil War. Actually, no, I take that back. This must be like circa 2007 because that's a promotion for Iron Man. And I'm gonna go ahead and read this. This is like some limited series, but it seemed pretty cool, so I'm gonna give it a shot. And for $5 for all 5 books, that was pretty cool. I also picked up Iron Fist #1. They had most of the Iron Fist series for what Brubaker and Fraction did, but it wasn't the whole set. So that's actually what kept me from getting everything. So that's why I decided just to get the #1. So this was also $1. It's okay. It's not. I would say it's probably a 7.065 condition. Definitely needs to be cleaned up and pressed. And even if I did that, I'd probably get it to about an 8.0 at best. Let's see. I also was able to finish my Young Avengers run. I picked up numbers 1 through 4 off of eBay. #1's significant because it's the first appearance of Kate Bishop, who's going to be the new Hawkeye, or has been the new Hawkeye with this whole generation of the the champions. She's not in the champions per se, but she's also highlighted in the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run. So I've got here 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is a really great cover. I wish I actually found this in a nicer, in a nicer condition. But I mean, it's still nice, and it's nice to have the full run. I've got 11 here, and the significance of 12 is that this is the first time where Kate Bishop appears as Hawkeye. So this is number 12. I'm not sure if CGC actually has this on their notes, but I got it nonetheless. I think some people note it, but hopefully maybe as more people CGC this book, it'll show up. Now, those were the dollar bin books, and let's see here. This first Mr. Sinister, X-Men 221. I was able to get this for $25, as you can see on the tag. These aren't steals. but they are books that I want to get, so I was pretty happy. So I picked this up. I may have also, I think I picked up a couple of books that were a couple of books that are like number ones or things that I definitely plan to flip on eBay. So I think they're here in this second stack. Let's see. So from there, I actually went to. So from there, I wasn't done with the day, but I'm going to save that story for the end of the video. But I then started the next day and I went over to yet another store. And it was actually the chain store in Las Vegas. They have they kind of have like a back issue. I wouldn't call it a clearance place. It's really more of back issue and like all their dollar books. So I was able to find a couple things here, and that were fairly priced, and I was happy about them. So let me show you. I found the Spider-Man X-23 team up. This was $1. It was actually bagged and boarded, so it appears to be in pretty good condition. I'd say it's probably like a 9.0, 9.2. Not sure if I'm going to flip this on eBay, see what it's going for. I think it's not necessarily going for too much right now, but if they eventually have some sort of like crossover, like with Miles Morales and X-23, or see how something like that turns out, maybe that might raise this price, but definitely something I wanted to do speculation-wise. This book I found for $1. This is Amazing Fantasy 15, volume number 2, First Amadeus Cho. And I believe that's him right over here. The problem with this book was that it was not in a bag. It was not it was not boarded, obviously. It has notable ticks along the spine. I mean, if I press it, probably come back as an 8.0. Maybe. I'll double check on that. And but for $1, this book will probably clear $65, like if it's probably like a VF near mint 9.0. So for $1, you really can't turn it away. I went into the back issue bin. I found 268 X-Men, very iconic cover. $7. Thought this was reasonable. I've seen it for as much as like $12 at local comic shops, and just did not want to spend that much. And I mean, there's not necessarily anything too great on it other than the cover, I think, unless I'm completely missing something. But I believe it is Jim Lee art. Let's see here. And the last book that I got over at this back issue place was the second appearance of the Punisher, Amazing Spider-Man 135, $17. I'm looking at it. I think that this is probably like a 4.0, 4.5. But I think that the Punisher, as ASM 129 becomes more and more difficult to afford for people, the value of this will probably go up, as this being the alternative. And then after that, giant size Spider-Man number 4, which is the third appearance, will also start to get some traction after this probably gets a little bit out of reach. But I still think no matter what, this will stay affordable for most people. So that was the extent of what I purchased over at that clearance place. Now, let's see here. So I went to, and this is day 2. I went to another comic book store. Was not impressed with the comic book store. I'm not going to mention names because that's just mean. But I did get a couple of number ones, recent stuff. But the one thing I did get, and I kind of want to speak to this. First of all, this is X-Men 129, first appearance Kitty Pryde, first appearance Emma. What am I drawing a blank? Emma Frost. And the person had it listed at $150, and I sat there and said, I'm not paying $150 for this book. And so I ended up paying, close to half. But the dialogue that I had with the person was, and this I guess is, a tip for for all of you beginners out there, just like me, trying to figure out like the best way to kind of bargain without necessarily coming off insulting or, just upsetting the person, or at least creating a way to have a reasonable dialogue. I asked the person what he thought this was graded as. And granted, this is based on the idea that you yourself know how to grade, or at least, are somewhat competent at it. And he told me that he thought that this was like a VF plus. And I said, okay, you think it's an 8.5? And I said, and I pointed out all the flaws that I thought that I could find. And there's an abrasion up in the upper left hand corner. There's a couple of flecks on the bottom lower left hand corner. I think I may have seen, I'm going to bring this closer to the camera. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a little bit of staple stress on the upper staple. There's a little bit of a roll, and I thought that it was probably off white to white. And I mentioned all those things, and and then I said, and those are only the things that I can see. And I said, yeah, because I'm thinking that this is probably more like a 7.0, 7.5 at best. And I asked him like if he agreed, and also what he thought the price would be given that, because I'd like to just pay market or even better than market. So he actually went over to eBay. He, busted out his computer, took a look at what was out there, and said that, the range was between 100 and 125. So that's where I was able to bargain with them. Now, granted, I also had cash, so it was one of those things where I offered him cash on the spot for this particular book. He accepted the offer I gave him, and I think both of us were happy with that. Let's see here. All right, next set of books. I'm trying to look. Aha. All right. So this store, it's called Torpedo Comics. They actually are at some of the larger Comic Cons. They were at San Diego. They're at WonderCon. They might go to a couple other places, but I think they're going to stay on the West Coast. This store is amazing. This store, they pride themselves on the quality of the books that they have. Now, mind you, some of the prices are a little bit steep, but you are definitely getting what you're paying for with respect to quality. And I went through and I actually visited them 2 days, and this is what I was able to find. I actually am still in the hunt for a mid-grade Iron Man 55 for Thanos, and and I wanted to get it. I want to buy it slabbed. And when I was in San Diego, I believe there was a 5.0 that was over there that they were asking for, I want to say $700, and raw, probably a 4.5, I might be able to get for like 3.25. So over at this place, they had 4 copies of them, and the worst copy that was slabbed was an 8.5 that he was asking north of $2,000 for. I didn't think that the price was overpriced. I just not something I could afford, nor would I want to pay for something that it's too nice at this point. So these are the books that I found while I was there, and some of them may actually still have the prices. And I'm going to move the camera over. Here we go. I know that it's not as centered as it could be, but sorry about that. My apologies. So I found Secret Avengers number 23. This is the first appearance of Agent Venom. I'm definitely going to flip this, considering how much it is on the market. I think it's going for like $30 right now. This I really bought more for myself. I'm trying to get most of the Spider-Man number ones. There's no way I'm going to get Spider-Man number 1 from 1963, but I'll try to get everything else from that. And these books, they're at closer inspection, these things are all 9.6s, 9.8s, maybe a 9.4, depending on if it's like an oddball. Let's see here. Also, Avenging Spider-Man, number 10. This is part 2 of when Carol Danvers becomes Captain Marvel. And let's see here. Wolverine, Old Man Logan. I was keyed into this run by watching Rob's Comics Explained on Hickman's Old Man Logan. I was a bit thrown off. I'm not exactly sure how Hickman is involved in this series, just because I don't see anything here. It says Millar, but I'm definitely starting. I want to get this run and put this run together. So this is first print 66, and I was also able to find the 68. Now this goes 66 through 72 if I'm not mistaken, and obviously I'm going to get first prints, see if I can find these for a pretty decent price. Now I also, these were out of order, but I got both of them, and if you can tell here, pretty good prices. I got 450 and 451 Uncanny X-Men. These are the 4th and 5th appearances, I believe, of X-23. I got the director's cut, just a nicer, cleaner version of the Immortal Iron Fist. Really more kind of like just a showpiece than anything else. It doesn't. I don't think it's going to have any great value as a director's cut. But once Iron Fist comes out on Netflix, I think that the normal book, which you saw earlier, is going to probably go up in value. Let's see. This book was just pretty cool from the storyline. This is X-Men Volume 2, number 25. This is where Magneto rips the adamantium out of Wolverine's body, which just sounds pretty awesome. And let's see here, what else did I find there? I found this simply for the sake of speculation. For $8, I really couldn't complain, especially also because it's such good quality. This is Wolverine number 80. What I've seen on the internet on other videos is this is apparently where X-23 is like in the test tube. I'm going to take a look to see if that's really, like what it actually looks like. So I really don't know myself like what it looks like at this point. I also got, with the whole Miss Marvel run, I got the first 3 books for Miss Marvel. I really love the cover art. So these are all just the normal, not the variants. Here's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. I don't know if 3 ends the arc or if I should have bought through 4, 5, or 6. But I could always get them the next time around. Let's see here. Now, trying to figure out if there was more books that I got from Torpedo Comics. Here's actually all the books that I ended up finding from the 6 or 7 bookstores that I ended up going to, which are included in the Celestial, Cosmic, and Torpedo. So I found 3 different books of Death of X, the one with Cyclops, Colossus, and Craven, and Sabretooth. I am trying to finish the run of Vision. I've heard that Tom King is going to stop after 12, so that kind of bums me out. The story is pretty amazing, so I'm currently missing 4 and 5 because I found 6 and 7. I've read through 6 because I actually bought the trade paperback. Let's see. I found this for cover, the first print, Captain America Hail Hydra. I also found for cover, this is what I actually found at that first place where I was kind of rambling that I really didn't find anything. Found this first print, first full appearance, Riri Williams. Let's see, different store. I found this at Cosmic Comics. Cover price, I found 2 Miles Morales Spider-Man number 1s. They really aren't going for too much right now, but I think, as Champions gets more, more popular, presumably, that, this should go up by a little bit more. I found 2 copies of A and B of Snot Girl number 1. So those are going to go on eBay. I think the set right now is probably the AB set for number 1 is probably going for about maybe $12 to $14 for the pair. Now this is pure speculation. I think it's just the idea that Marvel's trying to give some traction. Moon Girl and the Devil Dinosaur. Apparently, this 9-year-old girl, given that they've shelved Reed Richards, and for that matter also Valeria, apparently this girl is supposedly the smartest human in the in the new all different Marvel universe. So I was able to actually find 2 copies of this. I found this over at that chain store. Now, lastly, I found this last book at one of the stores, and you might be able to put 2 and 2 together just if you look at the clues of what you see. But I found this book. I was looking for Captain Marvel number 17, the first print, not the second print, because I definitely said, I want to complete my run. If you've seen my other videos, you've actually seen the slabs that I have of pretty much everything but the Kamala Khan cover. So as I'm flipping through, this is what in this book is the blue border Kamala Khan. As you can tell, what I saw was that price tag. So if you guys go on eBay, you'll be shocked for what it actually sells for. This book, I would say, probably even with the press, should come out as a 9.4. I mean, if I was lucky, it would come out as a 9.6. I'm not sure. I actually need to really inspect this book. In transport, I think I got a bit of a tick in there. I'm not sure if you could see it on the glare or not, but it's like somewhere in here. But it's definitely is going to be something where I want to press it just to make sure. But yeah, I got this thing for $8. I didn't think that I'd be one of those guys that basically said, "Hey, I found an X $100 book for less than $10 or 2 times cover price at that point." But I'm apparently now part of the club, and so this was pretty awesome. Like I said, if you guys go over to, I'm going to leave this here. Like I said, if you guys end up going to Las Vegas, definitely hit up Torpedo Comics, hit up Cosmic Comics, and also Celestial Comics. These 3 stores are not anywhere near each other. The Celestial Comics, which is really a very well organized dollar bin, and also some books that you might be able to find. They are out over in the northwest corner of the 215 Beltway. And if you look up on Google Maps, you could kind of understand like what I'm talking about. You've got Cosmic Comics on the east side. So if this were kind of like a clock, I would call Celestial Comics about at 10 o'clock. Probably like 10 o'clock. Cosmic Comics is about 3 o'clock. And Torpedo Comics is at about 7 o'clock. And Torpedo Comics, that is the place that you have to visit, even if you don't spend a dime there. It's definitely worth the visit just to see all the slabs, and I'm sure you'll probably end up finding something. They have Silver Age, Bronze Age, all the way to modern, and it is just an incredible store that it's one of those stores. It's one of the stores where you want to kind of tell everybody, I wish this is how your store was. Customer service top notch, also super clean. All the things that you would check off. But that's basically it. I'm approaching 30 minutes, which I didn't expect to, but considering all these books, actually I'm not surprised. So hope that everyone's having a good time hunting for books, and I'll catch you guys later on the next video. Thanks a lot.